Hello, friends. And I am so glad you're at Cindy's Corner. Go ahead and give that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss Cindy's Corner. And today, our book is a wonderful story. And boys and girls, do you know the difference between a fiction and a nonfiction story? A nonfiction means that it really happened. So, this is a story based on a true story. That's right. This is a true story. And I think that's one reason it's so special to me is that knowing how it happened. And have you ever gotten a gift that just kept giving and giving and giving? Well, that's what our story is about. And it just is a great story. And if you've got this book, go get it so that you can follow along. And if you don't, this is one for a library. This is a great, great story about these two girls and their daddy who was on this train. And it's a story about Idabel, Oklahoma. And it says a title is A Gift for Ida and Belle. You think that's the two girls? Let's read about Ida and Belle. I was very fortunate to get to meet the author of this book, and he wrote thank you for sharing your gifts. And I do try to share the gift of happiness. And I hope you do too. And you're going to enjoy this gift. It's special. You're going to tell your friends about it, I'm sure. Our title page is A Gift for Ida and Belle. The author is Dr. Michael Johnson, and the illustrator is Hugo Westphal. Just bear with me on these two pages, okay? It was in the year 1901. That's over 120 years ago. When the big black steam engine of the Frisco line waited for the familiar cry to begin the long journey, men, timbers, and steel had been gathered at the St. Louis station, and now they were ready to begin laying the tracks for the iron horse that would change the world. Cross ties and iron rails rested in boxcars, waiting to be laid down across America. The men hugged their wives and children, and with smiles and tears waved goodbye. The crowd turned to the chief of the railroad, the one called Isaac Purnell. After one last embrace with his beloved wife and two small daughters, he was about to address the men when he heard, "Oh, Daddy," cried the youngest child, "I wish you didn't have to go." "We must, little one," he replied, reaching to gather both daughters in his arms. "There is much to be done for our country." He smiled. "When I return, I will bring a gift for both of you, and it will be a most special gift indeed." Then he turned to face the men, and as he looked down the long line, he felt so very proud of them all. Proud to be leading them on a long and dangerous journey that would take them over mountains and into valleys, across swift, clear rivers, and through the dense, thickly wooded forest. The work would be long and hard, And he knew the men would miss their families, but the work must be done. If you're ready, then, he said in a powerful voice, we begin. All aboard! The big black locomotive roared to life, and the men stepped on as one. As the train pulled away, the children ran alongside as far as they could. The two little ones would always remember their father waving from the window, saying, a most special gift indeed. So begins the story of an adventure across America in the year of 1901, and the quest for a gift for two little girls named Ida and Belle. A gift the girls would never forget, and thousands would always remember. As the great train pulled across the state of Missouri, the rails sang as the men prepared for the hard work that lay before them. Spirits were high as the train sped through the Ozark Mountains, and the crew watched herds of deer and flocks of wild turkey turn to stare. What are you hauling? Shouted a young boy standing along the tracks. The future, son, yelled Isaac back to him. We're hauling the future. Crossing into the territory of Oklahoma, the tracks ended, and in their place stood massive stands of oak, hickory, and cottonwood. Those are trees. Here he is. They're having to chop the trees down. Got the horses pulling the stumps out. Men, horses, and mules cleared the forest. Rails and ties were laid. And when the spikes were driven, a path was cleared. Spikes is what like nails that they nailed in. Isaac's days were filled with planning the work. There were so many things to be done. Water for the men and food as well. Maps to be read, routes to be chosen, and rivers to cross. But at night, he thought about the gift. He's holding a picture of his two girls, Ida and Belle. During their many stops, peddlers would come and offer their wares. That's the things that they've made. I tell you are looking for a gift, Mr. Purnell, said one merchant. Come and see my many sparkling jewels and gold and silver coins. They are pretty things, agreed Isaac. But coins have a way of slipping through your fingers. He smiled. Perhaps a rare perfume for your lovely wife or children? Inquired the merchant. The aroma is most pleasing, said Isaac, but scents fade and drift away with the wind. No, he replied, I want something that lasts. Ah, Mr. Purnell, said the merchant, you of all men should know, as wise as you are, that nothing lasts. Isaac stared at the old man for some time, and at last he said, there are some things that do. And the train rolled on. See the train? The work was unending, as no roads existed. In this wild and undeveloped land, there were only trails leading to the border states of Arkansas and Texas. Yet somehow the train rolled on. As the days turned into weeks and months, Isaac saw to the needs of the men, and his legend grew. He eats only after the others are fed, observed those at the trading post along the way. 2 days ago, we were short of water, and he gave his ration to me, said a member of the crew. The men would do anything for him, added another. There's the trading post. They're eating. He's a-working. The men called John Redwine knew why. John was the driver of Spikes, and the men watched in awe when he swung his massive sledge. One blow from his powerful arms caused the long steel spike to sink deep into the timbers. He is a servant leader, explained the Choctaw. See? He's got big old arms, doesn't he? And there's his sledgehammer. He gives and gives of himself. My people have always believed that it is the great secret. He who gives of himself will receive many blessings. And the men listened in silence, broken only by singing still of John's hammer ringing on spikes of iron, and they agreed. Almost a year had passed now since Isaac had seen his daughters. The train and crew were approaching the turnaround point, the place that would mark their journey's end, and still Isaac had not found the gift. Clerks and traders at the trading post and along 1,000-year-old trails called him to look at their trinkets, baubles, rings, clothing, and shoes. Each and every one said, I have heard of your request, Mr. Purnell. Let me show you a very special gift indeed. And to each and every offer, Isaac would smile and say, "That is a fine present, but I am seeking a special gift that will last." The merchants would whisper among themselves, "Does this man, as wise as he is, not know all things wane and fade? What is this talk of a gift that lasts?" And the train rolled on. The one called John Redwine sought out Isaac Purnell in his small compartment late one evening. "Ah, John Redwine," exclaimed Isaac, "the best spike driving man I've ever known. What can I do for you, my friend?" John smiled at his friend. "You are always saying those powerful words, but now it is John Redwine who comes to do something for you." Over cups of strong black coffee, the two men talked late into the night. He's a Choctaw Indian. There they are. "Soon we will come to the end of this journey," said John. "We will reach the turnaround point and will have accomplished our task of bringing the beginning of the future to this land. Yet you still seek the gift for your little ones." "Yes, that is true," replied Isaac, "but I still have hope." "A most special thing," answered John. "There is always hope." And John Redwine smiled again. Then he began to explain to Isaac that he had heard talk of men who sat on a commission. "Their task is to find a name for this new place," he said. "And by helping these men, you just may find the gift you seek for your little ones." Then John told Isaac of the gift. As the sun's rays gently seeped into the small living apartment, the two men realized they had talked through the night. Isaac Purnell stood and offered his hand to John Redwine. "Splendid, my friend, a splendid gift, and one that will last," he smiles. Here's the engine. When the big black engine of the Frisco line pulled into the St. Louis station, wives and children greeted husbands and fathers with smiles and tears. Isaac Purnell swept his loved ones into his arms and held them for the longest time. "Oh, Daddy," said his little Ida, "you've come home and we've missed you so." "This is the best day of days because you are here, Father," added the other, the one called Belle. From his pocket, Isaac withdrew a beautiful parchment filled with flowing script. "And here is your gift," I promised. "A most special gift indeed." He smiled. Then the crowd became hushed and still as Isaac read from the document. "Let it be known to all parties that from this day the settlement in southeast Oklahoma, formerly called the Turnaround Point, shall now be called by the combined names of the daughters of one Isaac Purnell. In their honor, the township will be known by the name of Idabel, Oklahoma. So now, these two little girls, Ida and Belle, they have a town named after them. Isn't that the most special gift? That was a great gift, and it's still giving today. You can visit Idabel, Oklahoma in the United States. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have, in the comments, tell me about a gift that you gave to somebody else that keeps on giving. Maybe a card. Make a card for somebody special, just because. I hope you enjoyed this book as much as me. And make sure you share it with your friends and your colleagues, teachers, and anybody. It's a great story about a gift that keeps giving. Make sure you subscribe to Cindy's Corner so I can keep giving to you. Thumbs up. Have a great day.